All right. So as I was saying, yeah, it's the first step where I come from an agency background. I am one of the founders, and I'm currently the CEO of Spellbrand, which is an agency. We have offices in New York, London. We have satellite offices in Sydney, Dubai. We are in the process of negotiating a deal with a marketing company in Toronto. So we my journey has been very interesting, and I'm not going to go into that. Don't worry. Just I'm giving context for anyone who doesn't know and have to spend the next hour, 90 minutes listening to someone, and so I came from a freelance background into a firm, and the firm sank, and then I rebuilt it as an agency. So it's been a long journey. It's been quite a number of years. And right now, I believe we are doing quite well. We've been doing quite well since 2016, I think, 2015, 2016. And when I say well, we look at it from a revenue perspective. A seven-figure revenue is what I think would be a benchmark, something to aspire to. And the whole point of the Brand Builder Academy is to help freelancers or even small design firms go the distance. Okay, maybe different people have different goals. It could be revenue, it could be something else, but it's easier to look at revenue, and that's the only reason. Because I, for one, like all of you, believe that if you do something you love and you do it well, money will always follow. So my brand, my company, it's not about money or revenue as a kind of a philosophical perspective. Of course, everyone needs money and everyone is in business for money, but money follows something that you do. If you're making a change in the world, then of course money will follow. Anyway, enough of my rambling about philosophy. So what do today's live call is about. It's a vast topic, targeting high value clients, because the biggest problem with our industry is the kind of pricing issues. It's people, I don't know, they don't do it for other professions. They, with architects or with even in media when they go to photographers or something like that. But when it comes to design, people expect the lowest price, and they actually hunt for the cheapest offer and not the best one in terms of quality. So part of the process and this series of calls is about how do we get to the next level in terms of pricing. But that's what I did last week. Just one part of it, which was about the imposter syndrome and how maybe we are sabotaging ourselves, which I did, years ago. And I broke through and I realized that it's a mental kind of switch. So in today's call, and it might spread into a series, we're going to talk about so it's not about theory, maybe there's a little bit, but it's more about how I practically went from small clients to bigger clients. But in today's call, specifically, I want to go through a process. Now, it's not a very complex process. In fact, it's quite simple and it's quite obvious. It's already there. There's videos and there's blog posts on it, the funnel system and all that. But I guess the value you're getting on this call and the difference is I'm not a marketer per se. Well, we are all marketers, and I say we have to be marketers. But this video or this call is not from a marketer perspective, but rather an agency owner, a designer, a creative professional, a brand strategist perspective on how we went about doing it. So you might find that, and I want to share some screenshots of some of our funnels, and I was just asking Greg if it's okay if I share a screenshot of the revenue channel, because I feel awkward. But I think that it's not about bragging, but it is about showing the context and how it's possible. So let's get on with it. So the stages of conversion that we use at Spellbrand, and we always used, and this is just obvious, of course, so I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to go ahead with it as if you've never heard of it. I'm sure you guys know this inside out, but just bear with me. So the three stages that we have at the moment that is leading to the seven figures that we get in terms of revenue, and which started out a few years back, is traffic funnel, of course, and then we have the value ladder, which a lot of um, freelancers and design professionals don't do, value ladder, and I'll explain what that is. And then, of course, our core services. Now, each of these can be a video or a live call, which I will do, especially the value ladder. I'll just touch upon it here, but I will like to do a 90-minute call digging deep on how to establish a value ladder so that you, when you start hiring more people, whether it's a virtual team or you're outsourcing some of the work, which is not a bad thing at all, or you actually hiring people to come into the office and work full time. The value ladder is I would say, it's one of the pillars of our success, relative success that we've had. The other is, of course, Facebook. I keep on, harping on about it. So these are the three kind of stages that we go through even till today. So when we are targeting high clients, so the silos. Now, I talked about this in the previous last Friday, and targeting your audience is fundamental. If you're not targeting, then you're really leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. You might be doing a disservice to your clients, to yourself, to your future vision of a brand, of an agency. So targeting is fundamental. Targeting is fundamental to everything. So how do we target? What do we do? What's happening? Now, typically, what happens when I was when I restarted as a freelancer again, I was looking at the entire audience as my target audience. Anybody who needed a logo, anybody who needed a brochure design or a banner or whatever. But that just didn't work out. So I had to come up with a way where I say, in terms of revenue. So I went back, I reversed, kind of calculated how much do I need, which I touched upon last week. And the biggest thing that you can do as a starting point for targeting high value clients is, of course, attention, which is, of course, the funnel. And we'll go into that in the next few slides. But so what I did was literally building content. Now, everyone does content. I'm sure you guys all have content, but it's not the blog that I specifically did that made a difference for me. It was one single high value piece of content that changed my life. And in fact, we still have that in a different format. It's a few years old now. We haven't updated it. I haven't updated it because it's working so well. And I will show you screenshots of how that works, and also our best month so far from that single piece of content. Well, actually, it's 8 videos, but short videos. It's a series. So it's an email series, and then I did the videos, and 3 years ago I have to update them. Maybe I'll do it next year, but it's working well. So why change it? And also the last 30 days, and I'll show you how many people have come into the funnel, who converted in terms of just going through, opting in, and how many of those have actually bought something from the company, and what that looks like. So that is the attention part. Segmentation is fundamental, and we use ActiveCampaign. You could use HubSpot. There are lots of plugins. There's lots of ways you can segment, but segmentation of your traffic is a must. A lot of freelancers that we work with, designers, they say, well, I don't have time we get 10,000 people coming to our website or blog or whatever. I don't have time to segment them. What's the point of segmenting? I can tell you that segmentation is the key. So attention is the door. Segmentation is the key. Although this slide doesn't show it in that format, but segmentation is the key. If you're not segmenting, then there's no point of you thinking about low-value client, mid-value client, and high-value client, because segmentation determines who the client is. It's very hard to understand. It's very difficult to identify high-value clients. High-value clients are called high-value clients after they've gone through the proposal process and they have paid you. and they have accepted a $10,000 project or a $5,000 or a $25,000 project or a $50,000 project. But before that, they and the people in the low value silo, they look the same. It's very, very difficult. It's because predominantly when clients are looking for design services, they are just looking for design. They're just looking for design. If I give a very rubbish analogy, probably a stupid one, it's like you're looking at a house. I want to get my house painted. I will just look for a painter, a wall painter. But perhaps someone who comes to me and says, okay, we'll paint it. That's okay. That's fine. But guess what? This is the state of your walls. They have damp. Forgive me. I'm not good at construction. I'm just giving an example. And then says, let's do this so that you're going to future-proof your walls. And let's do this so that the integrity of the house is maintained. And let's do this so that when you sell your house, the value is going to double. And then, of course, we're going to put a lick of paint on it. That is the way it should be done. And to do that, you need segmentation, because you cannot try and offer value to everyone who comes to your door. Predominantly, especially if you're not using advertising of some sort, such as Facebook or Instagram, if you're just depending on organic traffic, so that comes from SEO, that comes from your blog, maybe you do a bit of YouTube or a lot of YouTube, or you have an Instagram, and Zoe was mentioning about what kind of focus should I have? Should it be on Instagram? Instagram is powerful in sending organic traffic, but the problem we saw with Instagram, and I'll show you in one of the slides, Instagram is great for building brand awareness, and it's very difficult to monetize it, to turn it into revenue. So depending on where you are, if you're already a thriving firm or a thriving freelance designer, and when I say thriving, forgive me, I'll just throw some numbers out there, but those are just benchmarks for me. This could be different for you. For me, a struggling freelancer is someone making, I would say, $10,000 to $15,000 a month. Doing okay is $10,000 to $20,000, $25,000. Thriving is $25,000 to $50,000. And doing really well as a freelancer, not as a company, is 50 plus. Now, this is not to judge our system, but we do need benchmarks, and that's what's missing, because we're all creatives. And believe me, I'm a creative guy. Okay, there was a time when I was, doing nothing but creative, but then I woke up and I wanted to expand my horizon. So it's very difficult to talk about money. It's very difficult also for creatives to sort of really look at money as an objective kind of a thing, but we need to do it. We definitely need to do it. And sorry, there's some. Okay, that's very, very good call. The figures, actually, sorry, let me quantify. No, I'm talking about per month. So up to 10,000. Let's just keep it conservative estimate. Struggling, and even if they're not struggling doesn't mean that they are in anguish. Okay, don't get me wrong. These are benchmarks, right? So not the psychological perspective, because there could be a freelancer who is super happy with $5,000 a month because they probably don't have bills to pay, huge bills to pay, and they're happy doing what they're doing. And maybe they want to spend their time traveling, so they don't want to be working all the time. So forget that. I'm not talking about it from a psychological perspective. I'm talking pure business, because this is where we are. I'm a business guy, and we all have to be. Even though we are designers, we have to be business and marketers. So yes, it is per month I'm talking about. And at an agency level, if you hit 100, 150 a month, then you reach the seven figures. And so that's why when you hit 100,000 a month or 150,000 a month, it doesn't mean you need to have a huge agency with fancy offices. No, you could be a team of 3-4 people. We were a team of 8 people when we hit our first seven figures, $1 million per year, not month, of course, per year. And by the time we hit 200 a month, then by that time we had offices. So it took quite a long time to go from 100 to 200, but till we got to 100,000, we were like 3 people. When we hit 50,000, it was just myself actually. It was myself and one part-time person helping me out. But so anyway, let me not ramble on about that. It's per month. So let me just close the chat here. I don't know, what was I saying? Yes, segmentation. So therefore, to be able to identify high-value clients, segmentation is fundamental, and I'll show you how. Like I said, this is not a webinar, so I can't really go into too much detail, but I will talk a lot. The slides are going to be minimal. Then personalization. Once you do segmentation, you can then personalize. And by the way, high-value clients, you cannot get them unless you go through these steps. Word of mouth and referrals, yes, you can. But then those are not scientific. Those are arbitrary. Those are lucky, so to speak, okay? And you cannot bank on them. You might get them 1 month, and the next month, no. You get tire kickers. You're getting people who want a logo for $200, or who might ask you and say, how do you compare yourself to 99 Designs or some crap like that? Okay, so what we're trying to do in Brand Builder Academy over the series of next few months is to build a system that brings in guaranteed high-value clients through the funnel, through the system. And that's the aim of this. If not, there's no point. I mean, there's no point in going through any of the exercises. So personalization is very important. I don't know how many of you have email lists, or how many of you are nurturing people. Yes, nurturing people that come through your website. But from what I know and my experience, and I do work with a lot of freelancers, I do a lot of pro bono work, community work. I take on a limited number of people as pro bono, as a mentor, and they're my mentees, and try to help them and all that. So that's what I was doing that, and then I couldn't scale it. That's why I started this, so I could do this at scale, and I don't need to spend my time with one-on-one. But personalization is zilch. Email lists, zilch. Nothing of that sort, and we need to start doing this. Relevance and engagement. So once you have personalization, that's when you will have relevance and engagement. I'll show you in the next few slides. And that's where high value, and that's where conversion comes in. So enough of this. Let's move on to the next one. Like I said, I'll do a very in-depth one on value ladder, but if there's one thing you can take away today, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more, but the one thing is really value ladder. Now, I know everyone knows value ladder. It's now being, but we did this. I did this when I didn't even know it was called value ladder. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to kill packages, okay? Because packages are our kryptonite. Okay, so packages are a kryptonite. I wanted to kill packages. So the firm that I had, I was doing packages: silver, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, and I think diamond packages. So logo only, and then logo with a card, blah blah. You know the drill, right? That's what we were doing in the firm. We were doing okay. Don't get me wrong. We were doing okay. We were doing, I think, 30, 35, 40,000 a month, which was not bad, huh? As just a logo firm. And this was 2008, 2009, 2010. But the fact of the matter is that it was a sweatshop to hit the 30,000 mark, to hit the 40,000 mark. Imagine, we were doing so many projects at $299, $399. You have to do so many projects. So that was a problem. So I wanted to simplify it, and I wanted to kill the package system. I wanted to do the proposal system, but the proposal system is fraught with, it's like a leaky bag. Okay, it's like you take a towel and then you pour some water in it, and then you try to make it into a bag and run across the street into the neighbor's house to give them some water. Whatever, a bad example, but you know what I mean. So proposal system is a leaky bag. it's terrible. So I wanted to fix that. I wanted to get rid of, I wanted to kill